Well, I'm Scott from Mama Tried Show, and I'm up here in March of 22 talking to my friends Rob Hulls, Bobby Goodtimes on Instagram, and Ken Caravjal. And I like the relationship that you guys have. I feel like...
Me too.
I feel like you guys have a comfort level with each other and have like a similar interest. You're both been invited builders. And you have like a similar interest in like a similar style of motorcycle, and you shot his bikes before, and I just wanted to get you guys together and sort of talk about how you guys know each other, how you first met, and how that got started.
Well, the interesting thing is why our dynamic works so great is he didn't know me before. He didn't know the real Bobby Goodtimes. He never met that guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he met me after I got sober, yeah.
Well, how long ago was that?
It was 5 years ago,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
5 years ago.
All right.
He knew me. He knew who I was.
Yeah, I met him.
But he didn't know me.
Yeah.
I met him a while, like even years before that at Bobby Middleton's shop in Lombard, because I live in Lombard, so it's literally 5 minutes away. So as he was building the White Wizard, was when I really first met him. But then we didn't really start hanging out up until I approached him, like I said, maybe about 5 years ago, when I asked him to if he was open to maybe the idea of shooting his bike for Dice, and we've just been good friends ever since.
How long have you been photographing motorcycles, Ken? How did you start as a photographer, first of all?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of like a weird story. Not even really like anything with motorcycles, but like growing up, I've always just been into art and thinking that I could do things myself. So the whole can-do attitude thing kicked in. But so we used to take my son to like one of those mall photo studios.
Okay. Like the Sears.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So then we would get home and get the final product, and we're just like, okay, you know what? Maybe I can do this. So I decided to get a camera myself, and it just started from there basically. So I would take photos of my son, and then one bike trip that I went on, I was like, maybe I'll take my camera just to see what happens. And
you were into motorcycles already at this point.
Yeah, getting into it.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I decided to just maybe take some photos while I'm out on the bike, and went to this show in Columbus. It's kind of what sparked the whole taking photos of the motorcycles around that time, because Mike Revolt was there.
Yep,
and
Mikey.
he helped me out considerably. In fact, I didn't really expect anything, but he liked the photos and introduced me to Lisa from Chop Cult, and so then I got basically started helping out with some of the features for Chop Cult.
Cool.
Yeah, and then from there it just evolved. Started taking photos for Dice. I met Matt Davis.
Okay. Matt and Dean.
Yep. And then for Low Side, we shot your bike. For
Low Side.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that magazine.
Yeah,
that was
likewise.
a good one.
Yeah, me too. And then trying to think from there, then just kept shooting a lot of bikes, and ended up with Stag, and shot a lot for Stag and Choppers magazine. And
great.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just kind of became a thing, but I think it's cool. I've met so many cool people because of it, like a lot of my friends, obviously Rob as well, it's all because of motorcycles and photography, so it's pretty cool.
Nice. When did you, and Rob, your background is, you've been a rock and roller, right?
Yeah,
and
so
like,
so I was a touring musician, and how I got into bikes was that one of my bands had got dropped from its record label, and I was so bummed. I was like, I'm not doing that anymore.
What band was this?
It was a band in the 90s called Godspeed.
Yeah,
we just had this tour with Black Sabbath, and we get off tour, and I was like, man, I want to do something like, I want to have that thrill, but I don't want to deal with 5 other people. And then a buddy of mine pulled up on a BSA, like 66 Gold Star. And I was like, that's it. Like, that's what I need. Yeah, and I bought a Triumph. Like, my last of my record deal money. Like,
okay.
$1,500 rigid Triumph.
Really?
You know, and that was it. Yeah, I was hooked.
Nice.
It was over. Yeah.
And was it running when you got it?
Yeah, it was running. Yeah.
Yeah?
So then I decided, I'm going to customize this bike, and it didn't run for like a year. And then that's how I learned how to do bikes.
Okay.
Like it was an old flathead Triumph, and I didn't have money, or it wasn't like you can like get tech tips online.
Yeah.
Like you had to get them out of Easy Rider or like call British Cycle Supply.
Right.
And talk to someone on the telephone.
Right.
And that's actually how I met Big Truth.
Oh, really?
Because he was the epitome of like British choppers in like 98, 99, 2000. So like that's how I got a hold of him.
Did you know Truth from motorcycle stuff or from music stuff?
Well, I knew his bands, but I didn't know him. But we have a very good mutual friend in Jersey, so I met him through motorcycles.
Okay.
Yeah. But a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, you're from New Jersey. You're not from Chicago.
Yeah, so I met him on the East Coast.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Where in New Jersey are you from?
Toms River, New Jersey.
All right. And that's right. That's near Wildwood, isn't it? Or
it's not too far from Wildwood. It's
familiar.
like a couple beach towns north.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so that beach town coastal culture, that's like...
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so it's basically, if you ever watch the show The Sopranos, that's where they go on their yacht. They go to Toms River.
Okay.
And they whack the guy and push him off into the water and then go back.
All right. And when you bought this Triumph, where were you living? Were you in Chicago?
No, I was in Jersey, yeah.
Oh, really?
New Jersey, yeah.
And then, so how did you end up in Chicago?
Well, that's a long story, yeah. It involves touring, a wife, and a lot of cocaine. That's how I ended up in Chicago, basically, yeah.
We got time.
It's a long story. I was on tour. I met my ex-wife at the Double Door playing, and then we got married, and I wound up in Chicago. Okay. And the only thing I brought to Chicago with me is a toolbox, records, that Triumph, and a bag of clothes.
Oh, really?
And I showed up in a 72 Ford pickup truck at her front doorstep at like 5 in the morning. Like, yeah. And that was it. I've been here ever since.
Nice. And who were some of the motorcycle people that you met when you got to Chicago?
Wait, so it was really odd. I didn't meet bike people in Chicago right away, but since I was going to, so I'm a veteran of the old Smoky Mountain smokeouts and those things, and I had known Milwaukee Mike and Spanner and those guys right away. So when I first got to Chicago, I was actually an original Shed, not original Shed, but I was a member of the original Shed.
Okay.
The old Shed.
Yep.
And because there was no bike, I didn't know anyone. And actually, I met everyone I know in Chicago at a Shed party.
Really?
Yeah. And they're like, I was like, I live in Chicago. They're like, we live in Chicago. I was like, why do you have a space here? I was like, because I don't know anyone. I haven't met anyone there. So I would come up on the weekends and ride and work on my bike and ride here in Milwaukee.
Well, that's awesome. I did not know that.
Yeah. Then we started, the Brave Town. That's actually, the Shed was the birth of the Chicago Brave Town thing, yeah.
And then who was the original founders of Brave Town?
So at first it was called the Post Office because it was in an old post office, abandoned post office. And it was like Will Thomas and Brian Harlow, Slippery Pete, Mitch Cody, rest in peace, Johnny Ratchet, like them guys, and some other people like Gennaro was in it, and then we lost that space, and then there was a thing called Fierce City, a bike shop that was under the Flatiron Building. They had a space. They lost the Flatiron Building, so we all went to this huge space on Elston and North Avenue. And we didn't mesh with them at all. Like, we butted heads with those guys. So we decided we were going to rent a building behind that space that was for rent. So me, Brian, Pete, Mitch Cody, the Brave Town guys just went over there. And that's what started the Brave Town.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
And did you guys meet each other through Brave Town stuff, or?
No, so yeah, it's basically
because it was after.
Yeah. But it's admittedly I'm only like 20 miles away from the city, but I'm just kind of riding to the city kind of gives me anxiety just because of the whole, being so congested. So, yeah, so I need to make more of an effort to come out there. But yeah, I mean, especially the new Bravetown now, it's just it's pretty cool. A lot of equipment there.
It's a lot different than it used to be, man.
Yeah, it's kind of evolved, right? It's like, it's not as much of a party spot as it was, and more work's getting done over there now.
It was definitely more of a party, but there was a lot of functioning motorcycles that came out of Bravetown. I'm talking coast to coast motorcycles, and we, not many people were doing that stuff. We were, so. It's something we were doing. I mean, it was a 24-hour party, no doubt. Yeah. But functioning motorcycles
Bikes were coming out of there. Yeah. Shit was getting done.
Yeah, like we were riding hard, we were partying hard. It was like the whole deal. Yeah. Now it's basically working on bikes and.
It's kind of cool though because you guys.
I'm also 51 years old, so it's like.
But it seems like because of Bravetown, there's been like I don't want to use the word, but I don't know how else to say it, but like almost like a signature look of bikes.
I think so too.
Like your bikes, Harlow's bike, you know what I mean? There's that kind of like a Chicago.
Oh, thanks.
There is a Chicago style.
Yeah, it feels that way too.
Yeah. So I think it's unique and it brings a big presence.
I don't know what it was, man. Like we one day, man, we're just like because we would like ride around and everyone would break down every 10 miles and stuff. We're like, let's get these bikes to get to California. Let's just go and we'll work it out on the way out. And that's basically how it happened. And we learned how to do it and get a functioning motorcycle to go a far distance.
Yeah.
So, the part might look cool, but is it functioning the way we need it, man?
Right.
And
then you guys lost Fowler and Cody to California.
Yeah, and then they went to California, but we got Cody back.
Cody's back, so that's good.
We got Cody back.
Ken, I swear that the first time we met was I feel like we were on the road. I remember, I feel like at a gas station somewhere, and I don't remember, I can't for the life of me remember where it was.
It was a Larry Pierce run.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Larry Pierce run, I think it was like the year after he had passed.
Okay.
So I joined that run. I can't remember. We went to Pewett's Nest, all that. Yeah.
Yes.
So, but
that was a good time. And, you were well into photography and photographing bikes at that point, right?
At that time, yeah. I was on my 65 Triumph at the time. But yeah, it was kind of like my main bike, and I just babied it and held me up for a while until I got into Harleys.
Yeah.
So.
Well, where do you guys see? I mean, you guys have been around for a while, and you get asked to photograph a lot of bikes for all the big magazines. Mm-hmm. Like, what do you feel like the trends, or what's happening in the chopper world? Like, where do you there's a lot of great young people coming up and putting a new spin on things.
Yeah, I think so. Me personally, I mean, there's so many talented people that you're seeing nowadays. I kind of correlated to like skateboarding, when I used to skate, I thought the people that I used to watch were amazing, but now you see them, they're just incredible. So that's what I'm kind of seeing with motorcycles as well. Like all these new kids, talented young kids, they're just blowing minds, like the CT Newmans and
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like totally out of this world. So, but like from the style perspective too, there's so many different things that, really impressive stuff.
Yeah. I mean, because I'm older, right? I'm getting older too, and I remember when I was younger, and I felt like the scene was kind of dominated by like graybeard guys, right? And it was just like, it was their culture, and they just carried it. It didn't really like adapt too much. So I get sometimes like a little bit hyper-focused on always wanting to like bring in younger people and have them bring that energy and like new ways of looking at things. And there's a lot of people in Milwaukee that are like starting to put on bike events, and like it's a little bit on-road, a little bit off-road. It's competing, but it's all about smiles. It's not about who wins.
Sure.
And just making as much laughter as possible, and bringing a party. And I think that's cool. And I really want to see more of that kind of stuff happening, because I just think it's important to, just keep that kind of stuff around.
That kind of happened to us too, because like when the original Bravetown guys were older, like Sean, Mitch, me, And then we got Gene and Joe and like, you know, we call them the kids.
Yeah.
And we brought the kids in, and you know, and then now they're bringing the kids in.
Yep.
So it seems to be like a thing, keep rolling. Because I used to say, if you want to make a scene, if you want to have a scene, then you got to make a scene.
Yeah.
If you don't make a scene, there's no scene. Right?
Yep.
So you gotta make it happen.
Yep.
Right? So.
Well, and you've been transitioning a little bit, so now you're getting into making handlebars. And how did?
Yeah, I was just like, I don't feel like building a whole motorcycle. That's it. Like,
yeah, that's like, I don't want to do the whole thing.
What can I do where I don't have to spend all day working on a bike? And actually, the real truth is, I used to bend handle all the bikes I built. I built my own bars, but I would do it at Bobby Middleton's.
Okay.
Because you had a bender, and I'm an electrician by trade, so I know how to bend conduit and find the angles and the pullbacks, and I can get all. So it came real easy to me, but I didn't have a bender. And the shop put out a text like, there's a bender for actually Rod Grimy from Stripped Down Cycles.
Oh, really?
He had an ad, so I was like, I'm selling he sold his whole shop, but he's like, I'm selling my bender. And I was like, oh yeah, I think we should get that bender. So the shop kind of chipped in and paid for it.
Oh, really?
I went down and got it. I paid a couple extra $100 that the shop was short. So I took it and I immediately bolted it right into the floor of my space. Like, you know, boom. Like, you know, if you wanted to use it, you had to
come in your space.
You had to unbolt it from the floor and move it. Yeah, so I basically, I did a set just to practice, and I put it on the floor and took a picture of it, put it on Instagram. And it was me like, oh, those are great. And then how it really started was, hey, I like the bikes, I like the bars on your generator shovel. Can you duplicate that? Like, yeah, sure. I like the bars on the Space Coast, the knuckle. Yeah, I could do that. Started doing those, like, hey, can you do that? And I was like, all right, if I get to 20 sold sets, if I do 20 paying customers, not my friends, I'll consider doing it as a business. And it, like, literally, like 2 months, man, I was like 20 sold.
Nice.
I was like, all right, I guess it's a thing. So.
And it was like the original shape. You were just doing those.
Yeah, I was just because that's what people wanted. They're like, oh, because they would see my Instagram and my bikes and see the bars, and they just wanted those. But then it was like, hey, I like these. Can you do this type? And now it's just. So I don't do like a signature bar. I do whatever anyone asks, basically.
Right.
And that keeps it fun. You know,
that's
it keeps
cool.
it fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have got any new ideas of stuff that you want to do now that you're doing this? You're like, oh, I want to start doing castings or something.
Not castings,
like that.
but so my buddy from Evolution Cycles, like, we're really close, and he's like, hey, I got these. I've been making these risers, and you know, why don't we coordinate them? So we did like a giveaway on Christmas, like his riser set and my bar.
Yeah.
And we were like, let's see how it goes, and like literally like 200 people like entered it. Like, it was free, but we didn't think the response would be that great, and it just took off. So we kind of molding those together. So, you know, riser pieces with the bar type thing and things like that. So I haven't got into the casting thing, but just custom bars.
You just
with
keep
different
doing
risers.
it and just see where it goes.
Yeah, but also I am building a bike for a guy, so. And I do just regular repair stuff in the shop. Like I'm doing a frame for a guy, and so it's kind of molded into more stuff.
That's cool.
With the shop.
Are you still doing electrical work?
Yeah, unfortunately, I still do. But I'm close to retirement, and it'd be kind of silly to get out now. So I'll maximize my pension, and then I'll get out. So
right on.
It's a good thing that it's turning into a full-time business that I have to do part-time, but. Financially, it's probably better for me to do both right now.
Yeah.
So, because I don't have health, the handlebars doesn't give me health
insurance, right?
And I'm old, so I need it. You know, the hip can go at any time, man.
And Ken, you're not a full. You don't do photography for a living full time, right?
No, yeah, I'm actually in cybersecurity, mainly risk management for a large financial institution.
How'd you get into that?
Oh gosh, so I've been with this company for about 22 years, but basically all just started with IT. I started as an infrastructure engineer. It just kind of evolved from there, being from application support, and obviously now I'm just in like risk management. But yeah, I've been doing that. I'm in risk management for maybe about 4 or 5 years now. So, but same thing. It's, you know, it pays the bills, and you know.
But your photography is just about a full-time job, right?
Not so
Kinda,
much.
Sorta. I mean, it's got to take up a lot of your time.
It does. But you know, I have the tendency to basically, if it's something that I enjoy, and if I spend too much time on it, I get burnt out. So I tend to kind of try to throttle that a little bit, and you know, minimize the time that I spend on it. So in fact, I've kind of haven't had the itch lately up until leading up to Mama Tried, and so I kind of used that as an excuse to get a new lens. And so, bought a new lens. I have it with me, you know, this weekend, because just out of excitement. So now I'm kind of, you know, excited about taking photos again.
Nice.
You know, so
nice.
But yeah, no, not a full-time job. It's just something I do for fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
the bars did that for me too. Like doing the bars got me energized back into bikes too. Like just seeing people's reactions to the things I'm, you know, because pipes, seats, and handlebars drive people insane with their bikes. And, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so like people are like, "Can you do that? I really want them this way." Like,
yeah,
I'll take
yeah.
And it really got me into like working with the people and seeing their finished bike when I'm on there. And
are you getting
really
into like sissy bars too and all?
Yeah,
that?
I've been doing sissy bars too.
Yeah.
Anything bending.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Bending.
Do you have a certain sissy bar style that you gravitate
No, it's like a stainless sissy bar. It's, you know, tall and just.
to?
Yeah.
He did help me with my shovel. I don't know if it's a sissy bar per se, more like a fender brace because it's so low, but it was a huge help because I had this image in my mind that I wanted to kind of, you know, make a reality, and I went to the shop and he helped me out with it, so it came out really good.
Right on. Well, guys, I really want to thank you for coming up here today.
Yeah, thanks for having us,
It's
man.
really,
We
really great to
appreciate it.
talk. So,
Yeah, it's an honor. Thank you.
Bobby Hulls and Ken Caravjal. So, thanks a lot for being here.
Man. Appreciate
Thank you.
it. We love the show, man.
All right.
Thank you. Yep.
Thanks.